Warriors NRL Fanatics here, back today with a video, and these are going to be my NRL ladder predictions for the 2022 season. But before getting underway with the predictions, just letting you guys know that these are just my opinions. You can disagree with them in the comment section, that's fine, but please do not give me any hate comments down below. So let's start off with 16th spot, and that is in the wooden spoon position on their ladder at the end of the year. And I've gone with the Newcastle Knights. Now, there might be a few people being shocked with this prediction, but if you look at the Knights lineup, they've still got not a bad team in theory, but they are missing the likes of Mitchell Pearce. Mitchell Pearce is off to the Super League. He's playing for the Catalan Dragons over there in France. And they've also suffered a massive blow in the off-season with Jalen Brayley getting injured. So if you look at their spine, it's still a bit of a question mark. You know, the likes of Adam Clune and that. And, you know, Caleb Ponga, there's going to be a lot of reliance on Caleb Ponga. So, you know, if Caleb Ponga gets injured, the Knights are in massive trouble because they have no one out there to step up and play that fullback position. And, look, even if Caleb Ponga stays injury-free, I just think that the Newcastle Knights, you know, the loss of Connor Watson as well, I think that was a big blow as well, losing Connor Watson to the Sydney Roosters. And, yeah, look, it's very debatable what the Newcastle Knights will do this year. So, I think they're going to struggle personally. You know, I do hope they go well. But in my personal opinion, I think they will finish at 16th spot on the ladder, unfortunately. On to 15th spot on the NRL ladder for the 2022 season. I've gone with the North Queensland Cowboys. I know a lot of people in their predictions videos have tipped Cowboys to finish last on the ladder at the end of this year, but look, I think if you look at the Cowboys lineup, it's tough to get a read on them, personally, from my point of view. Now, last year was a difficult year for Todd Payten as first year as coach for the North Queensland Cowboys. You know, he came from the Warriors, you know, and yeah, it was a few decisions where Todd Payten, you can question the likes of Jason Taumalolo, where they would play him. You know, you've also got the likes of the Hammer as well. You know, will they play him in the centres? Will they play him on the wing? You know, Valentine Holmes, what's his best position? And what will Chad Townsend bring to the side in the halves in terms of experience? Because he's an experienced player. But for me, going into this year, looking at the Cowboys lineup overall, besides the signing of Chad Townsend, it's a good signing, don't get me wrong, but I don't see much in the Cowboys this year, unfortunately, and I think they'll finish 15th on the ladder. On to 14th on the NRL ladder for this season, I've gone with the West Tigers. Now, the West Tigers have had a very disappointing few years in the competition. They haven't made the finals since 2011. 2011, the same year as the Warriors last made the finals, and it's been a decade full of disappointment for the West Tigers. Now, this year, I think they're still going to take some time. I think they'll stay the same on the ladder, because 2023 is probably the year that they will be on the up with the new signings they made for that year. This year they have signed the likes of Jackson Hastings and Oliver Gildard from Super League as well, but I just don't see the West Tigers showing too much improvement from last year. So I'm going to go with 14th spot on the West Tigers for the ladder for this year. On to 13th spot on the ladder for this year. Now, I'm going to cop a bit of stick for this one, but I'm going to give my reason why I've gone with this team in 13th spot, and that is the Gold Coast Titans. Now, look, last year, full credit to them, they made the top 8 last year. They had a good year last year, but I'm going to say, coming into this year with the likes of Jamal Fogarty leaving, going to the Raiders, you know, personally I thought they should have kept Jamal Fogarty. Now, they've got a very young spine. They're going to have the likes of Jaden Campbell, Toby Sexton in the halves with AJ Brimson. Now, AJ Brimson hasn't played much halves in his career. It is a promising spine. They've got a good forward pack with the likes of David Fafita and that, but if you're looking at it from inexperience, it's just inexperience in that spine position, and I just think the Titans, usually when they have a good year, they don't really back it up the previous year. So I've gone with the Titans in 13th spot. yes, I'm going to cop a bit of stick for it, but this is my personal opinion. I've gone with them here in 13th on the ladder. On to the Bulldogs now, and where I have them on the ladder, I've got them in 12th. I know there's been a lot of talk around their off-season signings, the likes of Matt Burton, Josh Addo-Carr, they signed Matt Duffy, and the likes of Paul Vaughan as well, with Tavita Pangai Jr. arriving from the Penrith Panthers and the Brisbane Broncos. And look, I think they'll show a lot of improvement this year, but I think they're going to take another year or two to start getting to the stage where they need to be in the finals. And yeah, look, I've got the Bulldogs in 12th spot on the ladder. On to 11th spot on the ladder, I've gone with St. George Illawarra Dragons. Now, if you look at last year, the Dragons, if it weren't for the barbecue incident, the Paul Vaughan barbecue incident, the Dragons probably would have finished inside that top 8. And yeah, they were very close to making it last year. Unfortunately, just, that incident really affected their season, that barbecue incident from Paul Vaughan. And look, going into this year, I believe the Dragons are a little bit underrated going into this season. Now, I was very close to putting them inside my top 8. I was very close. But, unfortunately for Dragons supporters, I've got them finishing 11th. I think they'll come very close to making the top 8 again this year, but I think they'll just miss out. Now, they've got some good players in there, but look, personally from my point of view, I just think they will miss out just on for and against. So 11th spot for me for the St. On to 10th spot on the NRL ladder for this year. I've gone with the Canberra Raiders. Now, the Raiders had a very disappointing year last year. I'm sure a lot of people like myself had the Raiders inside the top 4 at the beginning of the 2021 NRL season. And boy, they really were a massive letdown. Now, Jack Wyden had a second-year syndrome after winning the Dally M in 2020. And yeah, look, they couldn't find the results that needed to find Canberra. And I think this year, Jamal Fogarty coming into the side, still a bit of a question mark on whether those two, with Jamal Fogarty and Jack Wyden, can combine very well. But you look at their fullback, it's pretty good. They've got a good fullback. But in theory, I think Canberra will finish in 10th spot on the ladder for the 2022 season. Now for 9th spot on the NRL ladder for this year, I've gone with the Brisbane Broncos. You know what? I think Brisbane are a smoky for a top 8 chance this year. Now, they've got the likes of Adam Reynolds. It is a massive signing for them in the off-season from South Sydney Rabbitohs, and he'll also skip at the side as well. So, Adam Reynolds is a huge signing, and he's a key to this Brisbane Broncos team. And you've also got the likes of Luke Capewell as well, starting from the Penrith Panthers. I think there'll be massive improvement from Brisbane this year. Kevin Walters is second year as Brisbane coach. And, look, I said they'll be top 8 smokies, but I do have them just missing out on that 8th spot on the ladder. So, yeah, I've gone with them to finish 9th. And the big question mark for me is who's going to partner Adam Reynolds in the halves for round 1 against South Sydney Rabbitohs. So, a couple of question marks I do have still on Brisbane, but I think Brisbane will show a lot more improvement than their past couple of seasons. So, Brisbane for me in 9th spot, just missing out on that top 8 spot. On to 8th spot on the NRL ladder. And look, before you guys wonder and think I'm being very biased here, yes, they are my team, so I have to back the boys in, and I have to pick them in on this ladder for 8th spot. Now, I'm not going to go through why I've gone through and picked them in 8th spot, because I've got a preview to come for the Warriors, so I'll go a bit more in depth with a season preview coming up, so make sure you tune into the channel for that. But I've gone with the Warriors in 8th spot. I've got to back the boys in, and the reason why I've gone there is because they're my team, and got to back them in. So the signings we made this year I think are promising, and I think we can make the finals this year. So I've gone the Warriors in 8th spot on the NRL ladder for the 2022 season. On to 7th spot on the NRL ladder for this season. I've gone with the Parramatta Eels, and there's a lot of people doubting the Parramatta Eels, and I know they've had a lot of off-field distractions in the off-season. The likes of Reid Marnie signing for the Bulldogs. You know, they've had the likes of Isaiah Papali signing for the West Tigers. So, yes, they're off-field distractions, but if you look at the Parramatta lineup, they've still pretty much got the same lineup for the season, and Mitchell Moses is going to have to step up. Dylan Brown's going to have a better year than last year, and the pressure is definitely on Brad Arthur this season for the Parramatta Eagles. This is probably their last opportunity to do something this year. So I think Parramatta can finish in 7th, and I've got them there on to 6th spot on the NRL ladder for 2022. I've gone with the South Sydney Rabbitohs, and I think this year they will miss out on the top 4. Now, last year they had a good year. They had the likes of Wayne Bennett coaching. They had Adam Reynolds. And Wayne Bennett's gone to the Dolphins now. And they've lost Adam Reynolds, which I think is a big loss for South Sydney. And they've got a new coach in Jason Demetrio this year. So it remains to be seen what Jason Demetrio can do. South Sydney have still got pretty much the same lineup. They haven't lost too much except for, Reynolds and Wayne Bennett there. But I don't think they'll miss out on the top 8. I think they'll still be in the top 8 for me. So yeah, they've still got a bit of quality in that lineup, and I've gone with Rabbitohs to finish in 6th spot. On to 5th spot on the ladder for the 2022 season. I have gone with the Cronulla Sharks. Now, this is a team that has been hyped up a lot due to their off-field signing. So they're the same as the Bulldogs. They've signed massive players in the off-season. Now, they've gained the likes of Cameron McInnes, Nico Hines from the Melbourne Storm, and Dale Finucane as well from the Melbourne Storm as well. So they've picked up some quality signings in the off-season, the Cronulla Sharks. Now, they've got a new coach. The new coach is Craig Fitzgibbon, who has come over from the Sydney Roosters. He's inexperienced, so the only issue I have with him is he's an inexperienced coach, and he's never coached in the NRL before. But I think Cronulla will have a good year, and I've got them in 5th. On to 4th spot on the ladder, and I've gone with Manly Seagulls. Now, Manly had a great year last year, had a very slow start to the season, but they came on very strong at the back end of the season to finish in that 4th spot. And I don't see Manly, missing out on the top 4 again this year, because they've still got pretty much the same players. Tommy Trbojevic, he can only get better, and, if he stays fully fit, I think Manly should be top 4 at the end of the season. So, the only doubts I have with Manly is, beating the top teams, and that's something they lacked in last year. But Manly will definitely be better this year, and I think they'll definitely be still top 4, and I've got them inside the top 4 on the ladder. On to 3rd spot on the NRL ladder, and I've gone with the Premiers from last year, defending Premiers, and that is the Penrith Panthers. And look, last year they had a great year. They had a very tough final series. If you look at week 1, there was a lot of people writing them off and saying they were gone, they ain't going to be in the grand final, and boy, they proved a lot of people wrong. They beat the Melbourne Storm in the preliminary final in a tough game. Then they beat South Sydney in that grand final last season. And if you look at this year and you look at their roster overall, they haven't lost too many players. They've only lost the likes of Matt Burton, Luke Capewell, and Tyrone May as well. So, besides that, there's not too many losses there for Penrith, and they've still got a very strong side on paper. Look for Nathan Cleary to have another big year for Penrith. There's doubts whether he'll start in round 1, but, once he's fully fit, Penrith, they're going to be a very tough side to beat, and they'll still be up there at the end of the season. They'll still be in that top 4 position on the ladder, but I'm not expecting them to be minor premiers. I think they'll be in 3rd spot at the end of the season for me. On to 2nd spot on the NRL ladder for this season. I've gone with the Melbourne Storm. Now, Melbourne have lost a few players. The likes of Josh Addo-Carr to the Bulldogs. They also lost Dale Finucane as well to Cronulla. But if you're looking at the side overall on paper, Melbourne, everyone says every year that no Cameron Smith, no Billy Slater, no Cooper Cronk, no, You know, every year, Melbourne, they always find a way to be up there on the ladder. And they did last year. They probably should have made the grand final in 2021. Losing to Penrith, that was unexpected. But, you know, this year, I'm still expecting them to be very strong. And I've got them in second spot. In the first spot, as the minor premiers for the 2022 NRL season, I've gone with the Sydney Roosters. Now, last year, they were very, very unlucky with injuries. They had a very poor run of injuries, and they still did well. They made it inside the finals. They did very well to get into the second week of the finals, and they lost to Manly in the second week. And they'll be better for the run this year because they'll have a fully fit side. James Tedesco at the back. You know, you've got the likes of Luke Keary coming back from injury, which will be very much a key for the Sydney Roosters to have Luke Keary back on the side. As well, it's going to be interesting to see how Sam Walker goes in his second year in the NRL as well. And you've also got the likes of Joseph Marnie in the centres, and a quality full pack as well, and a quality coach in Trent Robinson as well. So the Sydney Roosters, for me, you know, they're definitely favourites for the minor premiership this year. They're favourites to win the comp as well. And look, I'm not a big fan of the Sydney Roosters, and I don't really like them, but I think you've got to give credit. They've got a quality side, and you know they should be up there at the end of the season. And that wraps up my NRL ladder predictions for the 2022 season. Now, like I said at the start, these are only just my opinions. It's fine if you disagree with them. Let me know your ladder predictions in the comment section below. But please, guys, don't give me any stick in the comment section for not putting your teams in the positions that you would like to see on the ladder, because these are just my opinions. But share your ladder predictions in the comment section below if you disagree. And yeah, don't forget, if you're new to the channel and you haven't already done so, please make sure you click that subscribe button down below. Click the bell so you don't miss a notification when I go live or do a new video next. And also click the thumbs up, click the like button on the video, guys. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.